Welcome to our International Student Brief program. Today, we've got some riveting stories lined up for you. First, an explosive new theory has emerged in the Idaho student murders case, suggesting that suspect Bryan Kohberger had specifically targeted one of his victims, Madison Mogen. This revelation comes from journalist Howard Blum, whose upcoming book promises more shocking details. Kohberger's family had reportedly been concerned about his behavior even before his arrest, adding another layer of intrigue to this chilling case. Stay tuned for more gripping updates on this developing story. Next up, the FAFSA, a lifeline for many students seeking financial aid, has hit a rough patch this year. Technical glitches and errors have led to a decline in the number of forms filed by graduating high school seniors. But don't lose hope. Advocates are urging students to persevere, emphasizing the importance of securing financial aid for college. We'll delve into the details and offer some tips on navigating these challenges. Lastly, it's campaign season, and politicians are pulling out all the stops. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is hitting the podcast circuit to connect with voters, while UK Liberal Democrats leader Ed Davey is making waves with his unconventional photo ops, including an obstacle course and paddleboarding mishaps. Despite the antics, these leaders are serious about their policies and goals. We'll explore how these campaign strategies are playing out on the global stage. Please stay tuned for more in-depth coverage on these stories. The Independent, Bryan Kohberger, a 29-year-old criminology PhD student, allegedly targeted Madison Mogen during a horrific attack that left 4 college students dead in Moscow, Idaho. According to journalist Howard Blum's forthcoming book, Kohberger bypassed the rooms of 2 surviving roommates to reach Mogen, suggesting she was his primary target. DNA evidence, cell phone data, an eyewitness account, and his white Hyundai Elantra linked him to the crime. Kohberger's family had noted his erratic behavior before his arrest, with his father admitting he was on edge. As the trial approaches, the defense argues for a change of venue and has filed motions to compel the state to share all evidence, while prosecutors aim to seek the death penalty if Kohberger is convicted. Yahoo US, despite the new FAFSA form facing technical glitches and errors, U.S. Under-Secretary of Education James Kval assures that significant progress has been made to resolve these issues. The FAFSA Simplification Act aimed to streamline the process, but its launch saw inflation adjustments, formula miscalculations, and tax data errors. The Department of Education has received over 11 million FAFSA submissions for the 2024-25 school year, and efforts continue to close the gap in submissions. The FAFSA Student Support Strategy has provided over $30 million in funding to encourage more students to complete the form. Kval urges students to apply as soon as possible, emphasizing that most issues have been addressed and the form is broadly available. The Globe and Mail. With politicians gearing up for elections worldwide, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has entered campaign mode through a series of podcast appearances, aiming to connect with voters on a personal level. In contrast, U.S. President Joe Biden relies on the popularity of former President Barack Obama, while Donald Trump continues to draw support despite legal troubles. British PM Rishi Sunak faces a tough election, with Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey embracing unconventional photo ops to boost his appeal. Meanwhile, Canadians celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day, and Vladimir Putin's visit to North Korea stirs geopolitical tensions. On a lighter note, the Edmonton Oilers face a critical elimination game, and the late Donald Sutherland is remembered for his prolific acting career. Yahoo US. The U.S. Department of Education's free application for federal student aid, FAFSA, has become a monumental headache for millions of students and families. Despite its crucial role in determining eligibility for Pell Grants and federal student loans, the system has been plagued by issues, especially following a Better FAFSA mandate in 2021. The new system arrived 3 months late, botching 30% of applications and causing significant delays. This fiasco has led to 250,000 high school seniors skipping the FAFSA, potentially reducing college enrollment more than the COVID-19 pandemic did. Beyond software glitches, the FAFSA's misuse in the higher education system has created a convoluted pricing and financial aid system that confounds students and families. The complexity and lack of transparency in financial aid offers, combined with outdated software and bureaucratic inefficiencies, underscore the need for a systemic overhaul. The Sydney Morning Herald, Western Australia is facing a critical shortage of student accommodation as demand from both domestic and international students surges. Experts and investors gathered in Perth to discuss solutions, highlighting the urgent need for more purpose-built student accommodation in the city centre. The International Education Association of Australia's CEO, Phil Honeywood, emphasized that even quadrupling the current number of beds would not meet the demand. Lease Equity's managing director, Jim Tsigalis, called for a shift in the state government's mindset to support such developments. With a rental market vacancy rate at a mere 0.4%, purpose-built student accommodation could alleviate some pressure. Companies like Scape, which owns numerous student accommodations across Australia but none in WA, see a significant opportunity. As Perth evolves into a more vibrant city centre, driven partly by students, the need for adequate housing becomes even more pressing. The Globe and Mail. Paris is undergoing a massive transformation in preparation for the 2024 Olympics, focusing on the Seine and its sprawling suburbs. The ambitious plan includes opening the Games with a flotilla of athletes on the Seine, a river once declared ecologically dead. Despite spending $2 billion on cleanup, the success of this initiative hinges on favorable weather and water quality. Most events will occur in the suburbs, particularly Seine-Saint-Denis, a region marked by poverty and skepticism about long-term benefits from the Games. While the government promises redevelopment, locals worry the improvements will not benefit the broader community. As the city braces for the influx of visitors, many Parisians plan to leave to avoid the chaos. The transformation of Paris for the Olympics reflects both the challenges and potential of hosting such a global event, with hopes that it will leave a lasting positive impact on the city's infrastructure and community. Associated Press. Norway has decided to tighten its control over international adoptions while allowing the practice to continue amidst an ongoing investigation into the legality and ethics of past adoptions. This decision goes against the recommendation of Norway's top regulatory body, the Norwegian Child Welfare Services, Bufdir, which had suggested a pause in adoptions during the investigation. Minister for Children and Families Kjersti Topp emphasized the goal of the investigation is to uncover any illegal or unethical situations in foreign adoptions to Norway. The investigation, expected to conclude in late 2025, was prompted by media reports alleging illegal adoptions involving children from the Philippines. In response, the government has implemented risk-reducing measures, including a thorough review of all adoption documents and the termination of agreements with several countries. Only Colombia and Bulgaria continue to have active agreements, with South Korea receiving a limited permit. This move follows similar actions in Denmark and Sweden, where concerns over falsified documents have led to the winding down of international adoptions. The Globe and Mail. In today's digital age, making and maintaining friendships can be challenging, but new apps are emerging to help adults connect with like-minded individuals. While dating apps are often dreaded, swiping right for friendship is gaining popularity, with platforms like Bumble BFF and Hinge's One More Hour aiming to combat loneliness, especially among Gen Z. Despite technological advancements, loneliness remains a significant issue in Canada, with nearly half of Canadians reporting feelings of isolation. The decline of communal spaces and the rise of the gig economy are contributing factors. Researchers suggest that having even one close friend can significantly improve well-being, though maintaining friendships requires effort. This involves not just connecting online but also meeting in person and engaging in shared activities. The article also highlights the ecological threat to Tunisia's charfia fishing method from illegal trawlers and the global unpreparedness for future pandemics, alongside Thailand's landmark move to legalize same-sex marriages. Telegraph. The burden of student debt and the value of university degrees are under scrutiny as many young people regret their educational choices. Adam Pollock, who studied business and management at Durham University, feels his degree did not prepare him for the job market and wishes he had learned a trade instead. Nimo Mohammed, who graduated with a degree in accounting and finance, retrained as a software engineer and believes her degree was not worth the £68,000 debt. Both Pollock and Mohammed emphasize the need for more apprenticeships and better career guidance in schools. Noor Charchafji, a former lawyer turned interior designer, advocates for apprenticeships, arguing that practical experience is more valuable than university education. She believes the education system should focus more on teaching job-specific skills. These personal stories highlight the growing sentiment that traditional university education may not always be the best path, and alternatives like apprenticeships can provide valuable skills and financial stability. The Sydney Morning Herald reports that elite universities are fiercely opposing the Australian government's plan to cap international student enrolments, calling it an unjustifiable risk to the nation. The Group of Eight, which includes prestigious institutions like the University of Sydney and Melbourne University, has submitted a scathing critique of the draft framework, arguing that the cap would cause significant financial damage to the higher education sector and the Australian economy. They emphasize that the plan is based on a flawed connection between international students and the housing crisis, and warn it will leave a lasting legacy of political interference in a $48 billion export industry. The universities are concerned about the uncertainty this creates, as tens of thousands of enrollments for the next academic year hang in the balance. They argue that the proposed 2025 implementation date is unworkable, given the long lead times required for student recruitment. The Group of Eight's opposition is at odds with Universities Australia, which supports the cap but not at the course level, citing concerns over institutional autonomy and student choice. The Globe and Mail highlights the intense heat wave moving from the US into Canada, with temperatures hitting 35 degrees in Atlanta and 43 degrees in Phoenix. This heat dome phenomenon, described by meteorologist Armel Castellan, traps hot air over an area, causing temperatures to rise day and night. As the heat dome pushes into Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes, concerns grow about the potential for a scorching summer and the increased risk of wildfires due to prolonged dry conditions. Castellan explains that the lack of snow cover and sea ice in the Arctic region exacerbates warming, leading to higher temperatures in Canada. Despite the dire outlook, there is some hope as global efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions are showing slight improvements in climate projections. The article also touches on various other news, including a student petition on Israel causing controversy at a Toronto law school and the Trudeau government's plan to phase out open-net salmon farms on BC's coast. CNN advises parents on how to avoid college sticker shock by treating the college search process similarly to buying a home. Financial advisor Beth Walker recommends starting early as 9th or 10th grade, to determine what is affordable for the family and to avoid excessive debt. She suggests aligning a child's talents and interests with potential majors and careers to target the right colleges. Mike McKinnon of the National Institute of Certified College Planners emphasizes finding a college where students can be happy, safe, and successful without accumulating significant debt. Tools like Cost Hero and List Hero can help parents assess affordability and identify schools where their child is likely to receive merit-based aid. Other strategies include taking AP courses, competing for national merit scholarships, and considering community college options. Starting this research and planning process early can save families from financial strain and ensure a more intentional and informed college decision. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Turn on the screen, monsters screaming. Empty smiles, their words misleading. Power games in darkened rooms. Spin their lies to seal our doom. Oh, oh, oh. intrigue.